Hi, and welcome to Chi for Yourself. Great to have you with us wherever you are in the world today. We're here to promote the good Chi and to help you find and or live your genuine life. Creative people, they tend to see the world a little bit differently than everyone else, but that doesn't mean that they can't home in on their goals, get focused, get organized, not only accomplish what they want to achieve, but earn a little money while they're doing it too. Our guest today is a teacher, successful writer, and actor, comedian, who is going to be talking to us about getting a handle on our own particular and even peculiar creative process and harnessing our energies in positive, productive, and income-generating ways. Sam Bennett is the author of Get It Done, From Procrastination to Creative Genius in 15 Minutes a Day. In addition to her multifaceted writing and performance work, she specializes in personal branding and career strategies. Sam, you're a creative person, and you admit you're also an organized person. After having success in the arts, what moved you to specialize in getting people organized?
You know, I just got really interested in the question. It's true, I was, one of those kids who would put on plays in kindergarten, and I was always acting and writing and making things. And as I became an adult and was living a creative life, that meant that I was constantly juggling 400 part-time jobs and gigs and projects, and my schedule was erratic and my income was erratic, and I kept getting more and more interested in the question of, how do you decide what to do when you have a million different ideas? How do you move forward on the projects that matter most to you? We get everything done for everybody else. Mm-hmm. Why is it that, the stuff that's nearest and dearest to our heart often doesn't get done at all? How do you stay motivated, especially through the middle, the grown zone, or towards the end where it looks like it might really be real, and then that gets really scary. Mm-hmm. And so I just started, thinking, well, how would I figure that out? How would I prioritize that? And I love worksheets, so I started creating worksheets and teaching the Get It Done workshop. And out of that, the Organized Artist Company was born.
Well, creative types can be a bit sensitive. Would you describe your approach to helping people as tough love or gentle persuasion or somewhere in between?
I describe it as a kiss on the cheek and a whack upside the head. Mostly what I have to say and really, let me clarify too, I believe that everyone's a creative genius. Not everyone is artistic in the same way that not everyone is musical, but everyone has a particular creative genius to them. So I'm not, just talking to people who would necessarily self-define as creative or as artists. But the whole point actually of the book is you have your creative genius. You have your own way. You have that little way that your mind works, the things you notice and see that nobody else notices and sees in quite the same way, the talents and skills that you have. And there isn't a right way to do it. There isn't a right way to write a memoir. There isn't a right way to have a blog talk radio show. There isn't a right way to start a business or be a great parent or make stained glass, There's just your way. So it's not like I've got some incredible method and everybody should do exactly what I say. What I have is an incredible method for you to figure out what your incredible method is. That's what the book is all about, is helping you tap into your native genius, your natural rhythms, and really figuring out what works for you.
Mm. Well, going from procrastination to creative genius in 15 minutes a day would seem to require an awful lot of discipline. If I'm not organized or I'm especially disciplined, then what am I going to have to get clear on right from the start?
The big thing is your desire. The big thing is your desire, and this is why I say that procrastination is genius in disguise, because it's actually your genius in disguise. The fact that you have an idea that will not leave you alone. You have a project or an idea that will not give up on you. You had a million ideas that kind of come and go, but there's one or two that still are really hanging around, and you feel bad about not doing it. These are two very strong indicators of the strength of your desire. And so to really recognize how much it hurts to not be moving forward on these things, like to sort of call up in yourself, like, wow, I've gotten kind of used to not moving forward on it. I've kind of turned it into what the life coaches would call a toleration in my life. But really, it really is important to me. I really do want to do it. I really do believe I can do it. That's where I would start, is really getting in touch with the strength of your own desire, because that's your engraved invitation.
Well, you use the word hurt, and that leads in, I guess, into my next question. You say procrastination hurts, and that's a good thing, and especially it hurts the heart. How so?
Yeah, well, it hurts your heart, it hurts your self-esteem, it hurts your relationships, it hurts your, certainly if you're a creative entrepreneur, it hurts your business. I was working with a client the other day who made a list of his unfinished projects, and he looks at the list, and he looks at me, and he goes, there's tens of thousands of dollars here. I'm like, yes, there's tens of thousands of dollars here. And the fact of the matter is, there's some work that only you can do. And to not do that work hurts.
15 minutes a day before, and I love this, before you check your email. I'm as guilty of that as anybody. Why do we want to get absorbed in email as soon as we log on? Are we afraid of something?
I don't know. Well, sure. Yes, definitely we're afraid of something. We're afraid of success. We're afraid of failure. We're afraid of looking foolish. We're afraid of investing a lot of time and not having it work out. We're afraid of going broke and having to take that waitressing job we had back in college. We're afraid of all kinds of those things, and that to some degree dictates our behavior. I think the thing with email is it's what Stephen Covey calls urgent but not important. And, because of who we are as mammals, the urgent will get our attention every time. And it does take discipline. It does take discipline. But I invite everyone here and now to take 15 minutes a day, every single day, 7 days a week. Yes, before you check your email,
Yes, ma'am.
Take that 15 minutes, and you'll be astonished. You'll just be astonished at how much work a person can actually get done in 15 minutes, and especially 15 minutes every day for a week, a month, a year, 7 years. And it's one of those, things that you sort of hear, and it sort of makes sense. You think, oh, sure, I guess if I practice guitar for 15 minutes a day, or if I did my meditation for 15 minutes a day, or if I did, if I wrote in my book, but we also sort of feel like it would never work for us. Like, yeah, Sam, I hear what you're saying, but that'll never work for me. And I just really invite you to try it, because maybe it won't work for you, but my experience is that it works pretty much all the time, and and what happens is sort of amazing things start to happen. People are spending their 15 minutes a day, and just because they're in it and they're thinking about it and they're moving forward on it, I get these calls and emails like, well, Sam, I didn't think it would work for me, but you said to do it, so I did, and I'm doing my 15 minutes a day, and then last week I'm in line at the dry cleaners, and I'm thinking about my thing, and then it turns out that the guy next to me, his sister is a literary agent, and da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, yep. Happens all the time.
And it's got to leave you with a good feeling to think that, hey, I got something done today, and tomorrow I'll do the same thing, and I'll chunk it down, and I'll be on my way to maybe a much bigger project.
Well, exactly. As much as procrastination hurts, moving forward, even just the tiniest, ounceest bit feels so good. Feels so good. And you get that great moral superiority like you do when you work out. You're like, I'm a badass. I'm awesome because I did that this morning. Woo, 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 woo. It really does have a wonderful effect on your whole day.
You take dead aim at the thought of perfection, but I'm thinking if other artists like gymnasts, figure skaters, and even baseball pitchers have achieved perfection, why should we ratchet down from that perfectionism ideal?
Well, you're talking about things that are measurable. The perfection of art is not measurable. And we are not the best judge of our art. We don't need art to be perfect. We don't need our creative endeavors to be perfect for them to work. And I bet if you think back to the movies or the songs or the books, the photographs, the dances, the whatever that have meant the most to you in your life, they're not the ones that are perfect. You know, it's that dumb movie that came on in the middle of the night and when your heart was breaking and you thought you were going to die, and then this stupid movie comes on and you lived. The movie saved you. You know, I've got a couple of books that I reread all the time, and I'd be embarrassed. You know?
Yeah.
Really? Those are the ones you reread? It's like, yeah, I know. They're not the perfect books in the world, but they're the ones that feed me and soothe me and quiet me when I'm upset. And that's, you know, that's what art is for. Art explains our feelings to us. Art lets us know that we're not alone. So, yeah, perfection and art don't really have a lot to do with each other.
Anything we can do in the moment and when we're just frozen and we can't get started, and something to snap us out of that perfectionism thought?
All right, here it is.
Uh-oh.
Get a C. Just get a C. Quit trying to get an A+ on everything. Just get a C. C is the grade that you get for showing up and doing the work. Show up, do the work. Not doing the work better than anybody else, not doing any extra credit work, not doing nothing fancy, not having all the answers ahead of time, just showing up and doing the work. And here's why this works. Because I can hear all the little apple polishers out there like breaking out in the hives.
That's right.
I get it. I'm a recovering perfectionist myself. I have the same feeling. No, it's God, I have to get an A+. But here's the thing. Your version of a C is probably everybody else's version of an A. And if it's not, then you'll make it more perfect later. But it probably is fine.
So purge those memories of bad report cards of long ago and not so excellent grades, and settle for a C.
That's right. In fact, really, aim for a C.
Aim for a C. Better. Yeah. Wow, that's really a different thought. There have been studies, one of them, I think, from the University of Colorado, that suggests procrastination is genetically inherited, passed down through generations because of long-term planning becoming more important rather than running from animals and other life-threatening situations. Do you buy any of that?
I think it is. I don't know that it's procrastination, but certainly our ability to project forward into the future and deal with deadlines is part of who we are as animals. And I hear this all the time from people like, you know, oh, Sam, I never do anything to the last minute. I'm such a procrastinator. Nobody ever does anything to the last minute. Nobody. Everyone does everything at the last minute. Now, what the last minute is different for different people. We all know those people who do their Christmas shopping in August, but for them, August is the last minute, you know, in their series of things. And it's one of the reasons that the deadlines have such beauty and magic in them is that when you fix a date to something, you know, you may say, oh, I want to finish this painting, or oh, I want to finish this play, but, you know, when you schedule the date for the reading, when you know, set the date for the vacation, for anything, your mind is sort of tracking it all the way along, and as you get closer and closer to that date, as that horizon comes closer, you start spending more and more time on it. So by the time the thing actually arrives, you know, you kind of know what you want to do. You know, you have a presentation Monday morning, and you sit down Sunday night going, oh my gosh, I haven't done anything. Well, that's not really true. You've actually probably thought it kind of all the way through. You kind of know exactly what you want to do. You just haven't written it down yet.
We give our projects individual titles, working titles, I guess you could say. You say, though, it's a good idea to rename them. How so?
Well, I think we often give our projects titles that sound like horrible homework. You know, like, no wonder we're not moving forward on it. It's like, clean your room, clear up the clutter. That's what I have to do. I got to clear the clutter. Well, who wants to do that? You know, or I've got to revise my manuscript. Oh, God, that sounds awful. You know, oh, I've got to redo my website. Oh, I'm going to market my business. Oh, right? It sounds awful. But if you think about what do you really want to accomplish? What is it really that you're doing? Oh, I'm not just marketing my business. I'm sending out 1,000 kisses through the internet. I'm inviting people to the party of my business. I'm not revising my manuscript. I'm polishing the diamonds of my words. I'm not just clearing the spare room. I'm creating an open space for fun and friends. It's a little bit the same theory as telling a toddler that a trip to the grocery store is a treasure hunt, but it works for big kids too. So yeah, give it a name that's sort of fun, that's kind of sexy and funny and makes you laugh, and you don't have to tell anybody about it. It can be your private secret to yourself, but yeah, give it a new name.
The subconscious will take whatever you tell it, right? I mean, the title also. I mean, it'll believe that.
That's exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I get really weird looks when I tell people that this show has its own legs and it tells me where it wants to go. You say you let the book tell you what it wanted to be. Is that intuition or trust or a combination of those things? How does that work?
Yeah, this is another sort of anti-perfectionism step in action. When I had the idea for the book, I immediately got stuck because I wasn't exactly sure what I wanted it to be, and of course I had that thing in my head that says, oh, it's got to be perfect inside of my mind before I even start, right? And, did I want it to be a 12-week plan? Did I want it to be just thought for the day? Did I want it to just be stories? How did I want to approach this? What was the framework of it? And I was completely paralyzed, and I thought, okay, well, yeah, why don't I just let the book tell me what it wants to be? So everybody needs an idea catcher. Everybody needs some way to record the great ideas that you get over the course of the day. I happen to like index cards, but you may want to call your phone or use your voice memo app or something else. So as I would go through the day, anytime I had an idea for something that I thought would be good in the book, I would write it down on an index card, and then these idea catchers, they all need a home. I would put it in a manila envelope on my desk labeled Genius. And I did that for about a month and a half, and then I dumped all the cards out on my dining room table and was like, okay, well, here's all the stuff about scheduling, and here's all the stuff about, overcoming those negative voices, and here's all the stuff about perfectionism, and here's all the, okay. And then when I was writing, if I ever got stuck, I could just reach into the envelope, pull something out, and be like, okay, that's what I'm writing on today. There it is.
Something that sort of reached out and grabbed me, because I'm a people pleaser from way back. I reading that you said it's awful when everyone thinks you're so wonderful. Why is that a bad thing?
Sometimes, as hard as criticisms are to take, sometimes compliments are even worse. It can be very lonely when, everyone's coming up to you and telling you how great it is, how great it is, how great it is, how great it is, and especially when you're not sure that it really is so great. Or maybe you and your partner have been fighting, or, or you're broke. You're the victim of your own success, and everybody thinks everything's going so great, and you don't have 2 nickels. It can be a little rough. And sometimes that fear of success really can keep people stuck. What if I do this thing and it's really great, and then everybody expects me to be really great all the time? It would be awful.
That's pretty weighty. Yeah.
It's very weighty, exactly. I talk a little bit about how kind of to handle being a public person and being a public success in the book. But my favorite word is sometimes. Somebody says, "Oh my gosh, you're a genius," and you can say, sometimes. Thank you.
Good. Middle ground doesn't. Yeah, that's a good
good
thing.
Oh, you're so brilliant.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Speaking of being in the public eye, I mentioned at the top of the program, you're a writer, a performer. You worked with the great Second City Theater in Chicago with some very funny people. We tend to give funny, off-the-wall kind of people a free pass when it comes to discipline or organization. We think it's sort of an on-off switch that they can go to at will. What kind of work or discipline habits, or procrastination habits for that matter, did you see day-to-day working with those performers?
The people who worked at the Second City, especially, I mean, it's really the top, the very top of the field. So those people work incredibly hard.
Yeah.
And they're working all the time. We're never, in some ways, we were never not writing. We were never not thinking of scenes. We were never not trying out new bits with each other. We were never not thinking about how the show went the night before and how it could be better tonight. And it was really all-consuming and a little exhausting. But the work ethic was, I mean, there's certainly plenty of fun and plenty of drinking and plenty of, playing around. And not everything that, it wouldn't always look like work, I don't know, to the outside eye, but it was. And we took our comedy very seriously. And still do.
Yeah,
do.
Yeah, it's serious business. And when they make it look easy, it's not.
Well, exactly. And I will say that if you ever, if you want to develop your life skills, I really recommend taking an improv class. Almost everything you need to know about how to be a successful person is contained in the art of improvisation.
Do you miss that part of the business?
Sometimes, although I still do it sometimes. I still work as an actor, and there's a lot about teaching that's very similar to acting.
True. Final question, and then we'll let you be on your way. What is the best way to determine which of our long list of projects and plans we should get started on first?
Yes, that's a great question, and one I hear all the time. And the short answer is, it depends. And again, there's some exercises in the book to really help you discern what's the right one for you right now. But I think I would look in one of two places to give sort of general advice. One is either that one that really is just closest to your heart, the one you love the most, the one that matters the most to you, even if it doesn't matter to anybody else in the world, but it really speaks to you. You really soften and warm up when you think about it. I would start with that one, or I would start with the one that has the highest return on investment. Like, what's really going to either bring you back the most, whatever it is you're looking for, the most money, the most fans, the most spiritual satisfaction, the most whatever, where's the leverage where you can sort of put some out and get a lot back.
Sounds like you don't want to sell your intuition short because you'll probably get a gut feeling about what you need to do.
Yeah, and really pay attention to that gut feeling. And although it can be a little tough because sometimes the gut feeling feels like fear and anxiety, and it can be. I did have somebody asked me just recently, like, how do you tell the difference between your natural apprehension when you're starting something new or something a little scary versus that deep, like, this is really not the right thing for me feeling. And I said, I don't know that you can tell the difference between those two feelings before you move. So this is, again, where the 15-minute-a-day thing comes in so handy. It's like you can start to try it, put it in beta, think of it as an experiment, spend 15 minutes a day, start making some moves, and then see what happens, because sometimes you start making some moves, and you know how it is. You set an intention, you move your feet, and it's like the universe comes rushing at you, and all this opportunity and all this crazy stuff starts happening. And other times you start, and it's a lot of knees and elbows and miscommunication, and it's just not working, and that, and that can be a sign that, like, oh, maybe this isn't really the right time for this. So, but I think you kind of can't know until you're actually in there and doing it.
Yeah, sounds good. Where would we find your website?
It's theorganizedartistcompany.com, all the way spelled out, theorganizedartistcompany.com. And you can hop on over there and jump on my mailing list, and there's a free video. I did a live stream for my book launch. There's a little mini workshop you can get instant access to, and get on my mailing list, which gets you a bunch of my writing and fun stuff, and then you all can tell me about your projects, because I'd love to hear about what you all are working on. It would be great.
Excellent. And that book is Get It Done, From Procrastination to Creative Genius in 15 Minutes a Day, from Sam Bennett. Sam, don't put it off. Come back and talk to us again. Tell us what you're up to. It'll be great to have you back.
I'd love to. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. You have a great day.
Thanks.
Bye-bye now. All right, and we will connect to Sam Bennett's website at chiefforyourself.com. And if you're a subscriber to the Genulines blog, and I want to really bring this home to our listeners, you may be hearing the program being streamed on the chiefforyourself.com start page, or as it's put out in recorded form as a podcast. Either way, it's going to be the same show, of course, but you get the jump when you get to hear it streamed. You get to hear the raw, I call it the raw sound or the raw feed, and you get it early and you get a chance to kind of chime in. I've had people ask questions or send me questions to pose to our guests, and I have done that from time to time. So I would welcome your questions if you want something asked one of our guests. We use the blog post to tell you who's going to be on and when and what the subject matter is. So if you care to send along a question, I'd be happy to consider that. Subscribers are the first to find out about the show schedule and all the other pertinent information. So it's a good thing. When you go to chiefforyourself.com, you'll see a little box there. Just enter your email address, and we'll take care of the rest. We'll let you know what's going on with the show, with everything else that's of importance. We're out of time for today. That's going to do it. Thank you for being with us. Be well, and I'll talk to you soon.